school unlimited, full of questions and curiosity. We have infinite imagination, and as we saw, NASA have proved in their own way that that infinite imagination is sabotaged during the schooling process. We are our own authority. There's nothing more willful and glorious than a willful boy or girl. Most parents and teachers despise that willfulness in children, but I don't. I think it's glorious because that willfulness is the defense mechanism against tyranny. That's how we have to reframe it, because the tyranny is us. We represent the system if we're a tyrannical parent, or just a demanding parent, or a narcissistic parent or teacher. So that boy or girl is simply defending their sacred territory, willfully. And the boys and girls are full of spontaneous fun and play. And everything that we do or suggest that compromises that fun and play, we need to rethink. We finish school entirely limited, unable or unwilling to question or challenge, content with groupthink as if we're becoming lazy because everything's been laid on a plate. Then we've stopped thinking as individuals. We're more concerned with fitting in, with conformity. And so, sod it, I'll just do what the group is doing. I'll take a jab because everyone seems to be taking a jab. I'll wear a mask because I don't want to look out of place. So that's groupthink and mass formation hypnosis. We become subservient to an external authority because we look around and no one's challenging it. So it must be a superior external authority. It must be true that we don't have the right to challenge it because no one's challenging it. Oh well, sorry, I'll just crack on and comply. And we're subdued in thought and action because the system cannot cope with all these amazing individuals being themselves all at the same time. So you put that all together, all those pieces together, and you just get one picture of child imprisoned, being limited in their potential. We also finish school devalued because if we haven't had the opportunity, if we haven't been encouraged to be the fullest version of ourselves and to say daft things and to whistle and sing and skip and hop and joke and laugh, then we start to feel that these things have no value. So is it any wonder that later on in life we need to get drunk in order to do these crazy fun things like hop, skip, laugh, make funny sounds? I love being amongst kids. And the biggest reason I can give you is that I love their randomness. They make daft sounds. I actually also make daft sounds, and they look at me like, oh my God. I have the gift of making children look at me as if, I'm not, he's one of us. But he's doing it even louder. Bloody hell. Right? And I've maintained my childlike state. In building resilience, I'll discuss how I did that. So I've got this innocent, childlike, spontaneous fun that means I don't mind making a fool of myself in adult company, but you just get respect from children or young people because they know you're being yourself. There's a woman that was telling me that she'd been a teacher in a school. She was the only one that the kids, these are older kids, so it was a sixth form college, I think, the only one that the kids had not beaten up. And I said, I know why. She said, why? She said, because you're a natural woman. The kids know that you're natural and you've just been yourself. You're not a tyrant, so they've left you alone. We leave school vulnerable to the offer of a career or a bullshit job. Now, career is very nice and glamorous as a noun, as a thing, but as a verb, as a doing word. When you're careering, what have you lost? Control. And that's what the schooling model is. It's grooming you to lose control of your life. And if the lack of control is extreme, you end up in a bullshit job. And a bullshit job is defined as a job that not even the person doing it sees the value in it. No purpose, no value. Don't know why I'm doing this. Well, I'm paying the mortgage, keeping the wife and kids fed. So you can see what the system is doing. It's funneling people into bullshit jobs, and they reckon that 2/3 of people doing jobs would describe their job as a bullshit job. That's 2/3. So you can see that the system is going to announce one day soon, good news, we're doing away with bullshit jobs. They're not going to describe the jobs as bullshit jobs. They're just going to say, we're doing away with certain jobs, and a lot of people will rejoice and say, yes, please take this job off me. Just give me universal basic income. I'll stay at home. The robot or the droid can do, or the cyborg can do the job, or get rid of it entirely, and we'll all be happy. Again, it's the bait and switch. It's all bait and switch. People are in effect being deactivated and switched off and replaced by robots or by nothing. The similarity between the grooming process, not in the sexual sense but in the social and political sense, you can see from this graph or graphic that you can see the similarity between school and the office or the warehouse. At school you kept safe by being busy, and the same applies at the office. At school it's all about risk aversion, and in the office that's morphed into health and safety madness. At school you had a timetable and your time was micromanaged. When your time is being micromanaged, even by yourself, that's evil. So we're committing acts of evil on ourselves. Acts by evil, just to reiterate, I mean control, artificial control. Needless, senseless, unnecessary control. So what we need is to recover our freedom back and be more like children. Except that we keep sending them to school, and so we're in a vicious cycle. Timetable becomes the diary. I'm averse to diaries. I do reluctantly keep them because I'd love to live without a diary, but currently can't. But when I was back in the office 40 years ago, I was really struggling, and it led to me being sacked because I just couldn't stick to a diary. Grades at school, fake paperwork, and that translates into bankster notes and bankster coinage in adult life. 5-day unavailability. So we're not even available to self or others for huge chunks of the week, and then we spend the weekend recovering from that big effort to conform that took our time and energy. Can you not see that we're in a cage, folks? Does it feel now like a cage? It should do. 9 to 4 at school became 9 to 5, and now it's 8 till 8 in both places because they've got breakfast clubs and after school clubs to keep the kids away from the parents. That's the point. Stop them from bonding, keep them away, and keep the parents away from themselves, because they're too busy and they're grateful to have the time to be busy, because when they're busy they feel safe, and it's more pain avoidance. All these little vicious cycles that feed off each other, that maintain the B system. Your teacher morphed into your boss, but it was a seamless transition. So when your boss was bossy, it didn't feel bad because you developed some kind of immunity to being bossed about. We should be telling our bosses to just go, right, up yourself. That's what we should be saying. Well, you're sacked. Oh, actually, I quit. We're giving them too much power. And being the good little narcissistic, psychopathic sociopath is the power that they relish. But they only have it when we give it them. And it's the same with all the institutions. Rules and discipline apply to both situations equally. There's way too many rules. We're inundated with rules. Apparently America's got 60 million laws. 60 million laws and regulations and codes. 60 million. The natural true law only has one. Do no harm. And grow up. Maybe 2. 60 million in the nonsense commercial legal system. Your classmates, who at best are your rivals and at worst are your bullies and mortal enemies, morphed into your work colleagues. Nothing changed. Your work colleagues are looking very closely to see if you're making more progress than they are, and then they'll snitch behind your back to make sure you go back. Snakes and ladders. What do you think Snakes and Ladders is all about? It's about snitches and progress. Avoid the snitches and the psychopaths, you go up the ladder. Get trapped in their spider's web, you go down the snake. Homework, crime against humanity, crime against children, child abuse, became overtime, crime against men and women, overloading. Over already says something's wrong. If you're over something, over time, over the limit. And Sunday evening, Monday morning depression simply should not exist. I've been out of the matrix in terms of the work matrix, the job matrix, for a long time. But it took me a long time to wake up Monday morning and not feel like I was not being productive or needed to be doing something. It does take a long time. That's the deschooling. Takes a while. And now every day for me is the same. Sometimes I don't even know what day it is, in the nice sense of the word. Because I don't care what day it is. It's a day where I can just enjoy life and be productive when I need to be productive. The days are not marked. Oh, I only know it's Wednesday because UK column's on, something like that. So we've got totally different markers. We'll explore that more in building resilience. There needs to be a day between Saturday and Sunday. Well, that's a compromise. Remember, everything has been inverted. We should work 2 days and have 5 days off. In fact, if you're a proponent of contributionism, Michael Tellinger's philosophy, it's 2 hours a week is all he would expect from you to be in his one small town. 2 hours of contribution. And the rest, everyone provides for you. 2 hours a week. If you love what you're doing, do more. But only 2 hours a week is expected of you. So somewhere between 2 hours and 2 days is what we should be contributing as if we ought to, morally. But this 5 days, 6 days, I know someone that's on call 7 days, he's a locksmith. 7 days a week from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. Apparently his wife wants a new house. That's not a life. When you look at the average school pupil or school leaver, what do you see? Well, these are some of the things that I see. De-skilled, demoralised, nescient, well, we've looked at that. Distrusting, or trusting in all the wrong things because they've been inverted, so they'll trust in the white coat and their narrative, but they won't trust you because you've read a copy of the Light paper once back in February of 2022. Arrogant, cowardly, antisocial, no eye contact. Addicted, divided, institutionalised, not good enough. That's not me saying that they're not good enough, that's their thinking. Disconnected, passionless, defeated, infantilised, no self-responsibility, so they want everything laid on. So if someone presses the off switch for these new generations, they will die. That's it, they will die. That's the Hunger Games. Just click the off switch and watch the younger generations scramble around each other for survival. Because they've been programmed not to have the resilience and the survival skills. No moral compass, no common sense. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, socially, intellectually, creatively challenged. Not their fault, they were put through a grinder and they lost their natural gifts, talents and abilities. This is why we all must rethink what success really is. And the meme says, what people think success is, money, fame, expensive cars, homes, material things. What success really is, inner peace, love, happiness, connection, true joy and authenticity. I love that word authenticity. And last time, which was Glastonbury, wasn't it, a few weeks ago, my remit was to talk about authenticity. And I said to the audience, I've got to talk about authenticity because it says it on the programme, so I can't exactly not talk about authenticity. It'll feature in building resilience because only the authentic version of you can be the best and most resilient version of you. The fake versions of you are going to evaporate and are going to get squashed by the storm or the tsunami that's about to hit. And not literally a tsunami, but the tsunami of change coming soon. And of course, Pandemic 2.0, Lockdown 2.0, which are inevitable. The phrase misspent youth, does it actually mean time spent too long in the classroom? Well, for me it does. Absolutely it does. But in the Matrix they have a different idea. It's like too long in the billiard hall, snooker room, or darts at the pub or whatever. No, that's socialising, that's having fun. Too much time spent in the classroom is a misspent youth. No individual sovereignty is another thing we inherit from schooling. Sovereign free will choice, with free will choice, is what we ought to be and what we start out as. But we end up as a slave with no free will choice. So for the sovereign, is sovereign because they and the universe are as one. That's sovereignty. There's no separation. So the schooling process, they put the walls up and then the universe is out there and this classroom is in here and you're in the classroom, you're not in the universe. But take away those walls, all of a sudden you're reconnected to the universe. That's where your sovereignty returns. It's universal reconnection. And the slave thinks that the universe, you can see that that slave is either in a classroom or in jail or at home or in a mind space, in a mindset that doesn't see or feel their divine connection to source or to everything that is. So that's what we need to rediscover, our divinity. And you won't get divinity in the classroom. I used to have divinity lessons at school. Well, you won't get that anymore. I don't actually recall what we talked about. So divinity is that spark. It's the spark within which is put out by conformity to a norm that basically subdues you. That spark of life, that spark of joy, that spark of something is the connection to something much higher.